To set the scene for our dialogue, we have Cleene, member of the Executive Committee and head of the Future of Food at the World Economic Forum. He is leading the innovation cross-cutting lever for the Food Systems Summit. He will explore innovation in food systems with our accomplished panelists, Dr. Katrien van Laere, VP of Medical and Scientific Affairs, Market Access for Danone, and Mr. Jahiel Oliver, the CEO of Hello Tractor, a company whose award-winning technology embodies the spirit of innovation in agriculture. They work on very different aspects of innovation in food systems, and we hope this discussion will help us frame the discussion on innovation we will take into our smaller groups. So with that, I will turn it over to you, Sean, for our panel discussion.
Brilliant. Thank you, Rick. And hello and welcome, everyone. I must admit, I'm very excited to be here today with this panel and just to have the group. I'm always impressed by just the number of people that engage in these discussions. As Rick was saying, my name is Sean Cleene. I'm a member of the Executive Committee at the World Economic Forum, and I'm very happy to be moderating the opening panel of the high-level dialogue on the United Nations Food Systems Summit Lever of Change on Innovation, which from the World Economic Forum side, we're very honoured to be co-curating together with the international NGO Mercy Corps. So the announcement of the Secretary General of the Food Systems Summit in 2021, that is both a People's Summit and a Solution Summit to deliver progress against all 17 of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, together with the fact that recently, like the World Food Programme was honoured with the Nobel Peace Prize and numerous other things that have happened during this year, are really ensuring that food systems are squarely in the spotlight of the current international agenda. So today's discussion couldn't be better timed. I mean, the UN Food Systems Summit has set out a vision that, as many of you know, that wants to see that all people are able to eat adequate, healthy, safe, and sustainable diets that support resilient and nature-positive food systems, that provide dignified livelihoods for all those that are involved right throughout the food system, and that support thriving and empowered, resilient communities and individuals across the generations. I mean, the impact of COVID-19 has also further highlighted the frailties of the food system globally, and also showed that it's a robust system in many ways, but there are many challenges to that system. And so therefore, in heeding a call for a solution summit, the rise of technology innovations presents a huge opportunity in enabling that vision to be realized, whether the data, digital or scientific technologies for it can be made available for a common purpose. And as we develop out the scope of the innovation lever within the Food Systems Summit process, it will, however, be important to take a wider view of innovation. This will require building out really dynamic and vibrant local and regional innovation ecosystems that include both policy innovation, partnership innovation, innovation in how we build out multi-stakeholder platforms. Equally, if we're to achieve the other goal of the summit, that this is a people summit, we will need a similar upscaling of societal innovation that delivers people-centric and trustworthy solutions that crowd people in rather than exclude them from the development that these innovations can bring. Particularly if innovation is to go that last mile and really impact on improving the livelihoods of hundreds of millions of smallholder farmers, but also benefits the billions of daily consumers of food worldwide, particularly in underserved communities. And so to support the discussion around the innovation lever of change for the Food Systems Summit, it's great to have this opportunity today to have so many of you engage and be part of this wider network of coming up with creative ideas and input into how do we address some of these big challenges. How do we take hold boldly of some of these opportunities that will really see the food system transform. So I would encourage everyone today whether if you have an idea for strengthening innovation, whether that's anything from creating shared data solutions to innovative ideas on reducing food loss and waste, to bringing dynamic ideas around One Health and how we bring health, linking that to the food system, or on the sort of societal innovations that will be needed to support the process, to really use the breakaway discussions after this opening plenary to think through how in your capacity we can take these forward and really address that part, that desire that the challenge that the Secretary General has put to us around having a solution summit and a people summit in the area that you work in. And so to kick us off, as Rick was saying, we have two great people who represent different parts of the sort of food sector. Katrien, who, as Rick was saying, is Katrien and Laere from Danone, who's actually been with the company 20 years, and herself, even though she's working on the medical side and all that on the nutrition side, was an agricultural engineer. I was interested when we were chatting to find out. And then Jahiel, Oliver, and just the dynamic role that Hello Tractor is playing in sort of really energizing and rethinking, and the way in which we engage around production and bring in digital technology in a really meaningful way. So maybe if I just quickly start, over to you, Katrien. You're engaged with innovation on the nutrition side of the food system. What do you see as the primary factors that you consider when looking at nutrition, and how you get this through a large company in a way that addresses some of these food systems challenges?
Yeah, thank you, Sean, for this great question. And thank you for the invite and the opportunity for me to talk. And indeed, I'm very delighted to be here as a farmer's daughter and being passionate about food and what food does for health of people. And you can understand in my job as medical director, specialized foods, I see every day how food makes the difference in health of life. Is it in recovery of disease? Is it in malnutrition? Is it in aging? Food is the fundament of health. And I really want us to continue to invest in improving our food, our knowledge around food and how that contributes to health of people. And to continue to do it, we can only be effective if we do that together, with the local communities, with the local healthcare professionals, really understanding what are the health tensions we have and how food, which really makes a difference, can be implemented in those daily practices. And that's already a key aspect that we need to continue to drive. But the other factor is everything you say about digital and the digital transformation. Of course, what we have seen during this last year is that there was an acceleration, being it in the way we could bring food, but also in the way we can bring healthcare. There are plenty of devices now who can help consumers locally on how to track their nutritional status, iron deficiencies. It shows clearly how we can help locally together as communities in an inclusive way, those local consumers addressing health needs. So these are these advantages in our advances in digital technologies that we really need to embrace. And then, of course, the big change, I think, over the last decades, but it's really accelerating now, is how can we move to more sustainable food sources? I think there is such an opportunity in leveraging the richness of plant-based materials, perhaps new technologies to really make more nutritious food. And that's why we need the farmers, we need the local communities, we need to understand what are those local crops which can really bring, perhaps by technologies, bring that as healthy food to people. And essentially that is sharing of knowledge. The local knowledge which is there, the power is with the people. People have the knowledge, and thanks to also digital systems, we can share knowledge much more. So for me, this is an exciting period but it's a changing period. The roles in the food system will change, and it's very interesting to be with all of you to discuss how we all together can work to make this change happen. So I'm very grateful that we have this topic on the agenda.
Brilliant. Thanks, Katrien. I really like that. This is an exciting period, but also a change period. And I thought what you articulated very well was also the importance of local knowledge there, and the whole two-way nature of that, yes, and how important that is. And I mean, Jahiel, if I came over to you in that sense, you're working with smallholder farmers. I mean, that's the whole nature of the business. You're enabling, the whole use of digital to really unlock, what they can do. I mean, what are you seeing as the biggest challenges in terms of, for you, in terms of having to innovate as we go forward? As we address this sort of excitement and this change that Katrien was talking about.
Yeah, and it's certainly exciting. I think Katrien hit it right on the head. I think there's also a ton of challenges, as you can imagine, buried underneath opportunity are challenges. For our business, we're focused on the productivity of farmers by providing them access to mechanization. And of course, as a digital solution, technology runs through everything that we offer. And I think what has benefited Hello Tractor and allowed us to think maybe slightly differently than incumbent solutions to farmer productivity issues in our regions. We work in 13 countries in Africa and 3 countries in Asia, is this idea around hiring inclusively to promote technology that is locally relevant. And I can't emphasize that piece enough, right? Because we have on the tractor owner side of our business, and we're in a double-sided marketplace where we have tractor owners who buy our technology so they can secure their asset, get more out of their equipment, reduce fraud, connect to more of these smallholder farmers who need tractor services through our separate booking and fulfillment application. These tools were designed by engineers and data scientists that are intimately familiar with the problems, both at the macro as well as the micro level. Some of them come from farming families within the countries that we operate in. And that ability to innovate around the structural challenges that do exist, and this goes back to the point that Katrien made around the opportunities and the challenges. Some of the challenges that we see are structural in nature, but having those local resources that are familiar. These aren't, for me coming from the US, seeing, inflation get to 25% on the Naira against the dollar, that was shocking. I didn't know what to do. I thought the world was gonna end. But my engineers were very intimately familiar with these types of environments. We're already thinking about how in the work that we do with banks to mitigate some of this risk, right? And that's just one of many examples of how when you hire the right people and when you have the right individuals around the table, both from the public and private sector, they can inject those experiences to influence that policy dialogue, to influence that product development on the private sector side to be more effective. And the irony is that the loyalty and the depth of knowledge, for whatever reason, comes at a discount in the way the labor markets are currently structured. And so I would say, while we do have these challenges, we've uncovered a great opportunity to hire bright, talented engineers and data scientists that understand these problems more deeply than I ever will. But my job is to put them in a position to display that brilliance and take those brilliant ideas to market to solve these real problems, both structural and at the micro level across the last mile with the smallholder farmers.
Brilliant, really exciting. I mean, it's very interesting that both of you have talked about, how important the local, being locally relevant is. I think, Jahiel, you brought really interesting, sort of people dimension to that this is not just about the innovation, it's as much about like the people that you hire that can bring that together, and the importance of that, and the knowledge and those knowledge systems that they bring, and it's the innovation and the interaction between that local and the innovation technology itself. I hope for people this has given you a bit of a sort of taste and a fire starter. I thought that was fantastic. As you go into their groups and really address some of those questions around the role of innovation, how that can be brought in inclusively, whether that's through data and digital systems or science and technology, or what's needed to build up those local and regional innovation ecosystems, and the role of things like societal and institutional innovation.